The author is now recognized for a 4-minute opening statement.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ian Hanchuk from the state of Florida. We've all seen prescription drug ads on television. If you take this, to make it out like if you take this prescription, your life will be perfect, you won't have problems, people will like you, you'll be popular. And then you hear the side effects at the end and you realize, death doesn't sound that appealing to me. The same could be said of the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act and the Health Care and Education Reconciliation Act, aka the giant health reform bills that Congress just passed a few months ago. They sounded great at first. Oh, we're going to increase access to care, we're going to reduce the cost. But now that we've looked as to what will happen with these acts, it is clear we need to repeal them before they take full effect in the year 2014. Let's look at some of the side effects. The first side effect, increased insurance premiums. If you get your health insurance premiums to the individual market, your premiums will go up by 10 to 13% as a result of the Patient Protection Act. If you're a young adult, your premiums could go as high as 17% increase. The Congressional Budget Office estimated that millions of families could see an increase of up to $2,000 in their premiums as a result of the healthcare reform bill. It was supposed to reduce costs, but it will actually increase healthcare expenditures by over $300 billion in the United States. More people will lose their current coverage as a result of the healthcare reform bill. 50% of seniors will lose their Medicare Advantage plans due to the huge cuts in Medicare contained in the healthcare reform bill. It is estimated that about 14 million people will lose their employer coverage by 2019. If you like your current healthcare plan, do that. Also, in order to fund the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, there have to be many taxes that will destroy job creation. It is estimated that the taxes will destroy between 120 and 700,000 jobs by 2019. That could be 0.5% of our labor force, a 0.5% increase in unemployment at the time of a huge deficit. We want people to employ more, but we are taxing small businesses by $569 billion in order to pay for the healthcare reform bill. That is why over 130 economists sent a letter to President Obama and Congress urging them about warning them about the impacts of the taxes in the healthcare reform bill. Also, we want people to spend more, but the premium taxes in the healthcare reform bill will decrease household disposable income by $17.3 billion. Now, explain the logic of that. We spend trillions of dollars because we need people to spend more, but then pass taxes that will decrease household disposable income. The healthcare reform bill also passes a ridiculous unfunded mandate onto the states. $9.6 billion will be passed on to the states. They didn't ask for this increase in spending. Oh well, state budgets that are facing shortfalls are just going to have to find a way to pay the $9.6 billion they will have to pay in Medicaid expansion between 2014 and 2019. Also, the middle class will be impacted hugely by these taxes. 14 of the taxes in the healthcare bill, including one on prescription drugs. We want to lower health costs. We are actually going to tax prescription drugs. If you go out and buy a pair of eyeglasses, you will be taxed on that because it's counted as a medical device. We wanted to decrease the cost of healthcare, but yet it seems like we're taxing it a whole lot under the healthcare reform bill. I'd like to leave you with this statistic. 60% of Americans in a recent survey want the healthcare reform bill to be repealed. It's time we listen to them. They do not want the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. They want us to start over and come up with better health insurance reform. Also, it was stated that a lot of my estimates are theory. New York tried the similar healthcare reform bill, and the New York Times reported it was an expensive lesson in unplanned consequences. New York has the highest individual health insurance premiums.
Thank you, author. Your time has elapsed.
In 2007, 45.7 million people were without health insurance. That's more than 1/7 of the population. Estimates suggest that the recession increased that number. 26.1% of those have been uncovered for 2 years, and 12.4% have been without insurance for 4 years. The United States spends $2.2 trillion on health care. That's more than twice the average of other countries that are part of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. From 1999 to 2007, premiums in the United States increased by 117%. These uninsured citizens are more likely to use emergency rooms and defraying the costs to the rest of us. And these are from diseases that could have been prevented with scheduled care. We currently are spending 16.7% of the GDP on healthcare, and that's up from 7% in 1970. Our old healthcare system was broken, and it's time to move past the imperfect and on to the potentially better unknown. The Congressional Budget Office and Joint Committee on Taxation estimate that the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act of 2010 will reduce the deficit by $143 billion from 2009 to 2019, and from 2019 to 2029, the deficit would decrease by another $1.2 trillion. Our old system would have increased the uninsured by 45 million people by 2019, but now we're on track to reduce the number of uninsured by 32 million, up from 83% coverage to 94% coverage in 2019. Access to healthcare will increase as pre-existing conditions are no longer a reason to deny coverage to patients. And it will also provide subsidies for those in severe poverty so they too can receive the healthcare that we all enjoy. Other states have previously instituted coverage through their government with great success. Wisconsin's StadgerCare is one such program. It has the best coverage in the country currently and some of the lowest costs. The net decrease in the deficit in 2012 will be $10 billion and then increase to $15 billion less in 2014. These are big changes in the amount of money we're spending in a single year, and this Healthcare Reform Act is putting us on the right track to improve our healthcare for all of our citizens, lower our budget expenditures, and increase the productivity of our country. I yield the remaining time to the chair.
Moreover, it's pretty obvious that if we look to other nations and other places in the world that have similar types of healthcare to what we are trying to achieve, primarily European Union, we can see really the problem with such a path. The European Union currently faces the largest problem and the largest obstacle that any nation faces, a huge sovereign debt crisis that threatens to engulf every single nation. Nations from Greece to Great Britain to Germany are all facing problems with their deficit simply because they have expanded the healthcare far too much.
Thank you, Delegate. Your time has elapsed.
Precedent.
We will now move